It's very abominable.
So they have a difference like begging or correcting donation for temple festival for
Begging or
correcting donation
joke, हर joke, cultivate. Tilling the ground means cultivation. So tilling and then so basically these are occupations which are mostly of Vaishyas or Shudras, not Shudras but Vaishyas, where Brahmanas and Kshatriyas in emergency they can take it up. So, but they should not engage in Shwa means dog, वृत्ति of a dog. Dog is what he is like, जो भी उसको खाना देता है उसको पूंछ हिलाता है, मतलब he is, so you should not become like a dog. Shwa vritti, especially those who are abominable like Shudras. So Brahmana cannot be, the Shudra will always think from not higher perspective. So if he becomes subservient, then he has to be subservient to his desire or mindset. He cannot work truth, absolute truth. So that is considered as Jugshita, abominable. And Kshatriya should engage in Devtas worship and Brahmana should be credited with all Vedic knowledge. Sarva Veda Mayo Vipra, Sarva Deva Mayo Kripa. Deva Mayo and Veda Mayo. So then Prabhupada is talking about Chaturvanya Maya system. So because of gradual neglect of Varnashram principle, Varna Shankara population developed and the entire institution has now been lost. So there is actually 3 or 4 kinds of Varnashram. There is something called as Asuri Varnashram, there is something called as Devi Varnashram, and there is another called as, what is the third one called? It's called, I think, Jata Varnashram or something like that. So Asuri Varnashram is something where Asuri, as the name itself suggests, it is fully toxical. What is prevailing now, where Shudra is acting as Brahmana, Brahmana is acting like Shudra, and things like Asuri Varnashram. Devi Varnashram is what Prabhupada, on principle of Vaishnavism, where a Vaishnava can perform duties of both Brahmana and Shudra also for the pleasure of Lord. Like Gaura Guru said once, when he came and joined ashram, so then he's coming from a Brahmin family. But then he was told, oh, hair cutting, shaving head. So he said, I had never done this, but then I was told you have to shave head of this devotee. So then he was like, there was a paradigm shift. Because generally that is shaving head or shaving is like a Shudra's job or something like that. But then in devotees, it's all, one can do anything for the pleasure of Krishna, for service to Krishna. So that aspect is seen. Prabhupada saying, although the Krishna worship movement is a movement of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, it is trying to re-establish the divine Varnashram, Devi Varnashram. For without the division of society, there cannot be peace and prosperity in it. Why? Because unless one is situated in one's own, occupation or mindset, he will not be peaceful. He will always be in anxiety. So, Varnashram is required for that. Okay. So now from 21 onwards, unique qualities of each Varnas are not described in 4 verses. Shamodamastavashrocham Santosha Shantirarjavam Jnanam Dayachyutatmatvam Satyam Cha Brahmalakshanam.
The symptoms of the Brahmana are control of the mind, control of the senses, austerity, happiness, cleanliness, satisfaction, forgiveness, simplicity, knowledge, mercy, truthfulness, and complete surrender to the simplicity of body.
Shama, Dama, he should be able to control his mind. Dama, control his senses. Tapa, austerity, shaucham, cleanness, santosh, very important, satisfaction, shanti, arjavam, he should be forgiving, and arjavam, he should be full of simplicity, jnanam, and the important is Daya, Achyuta Atmatvam. Achyuta Atmatvam means complete surrender to the Supreme Personality of God. Satyam cha Brahma Lakshanam, truthfulness. Prabhupada says the ultimate aim is Achyut Atmatvam, to think always of Supreme Personality of God, Krishna Vishnu. So to make advancement in Krishna consciousness, one has to become a Brahmana with the above mentioned symptoms, Prabhupada says. So purpose of Krishna consciousness is to become Achyut Atmatvam. Surrender, always think of Krishna. Okay, then 22nd is talking about Kshatriya's qualities. Shauryam Viryam Dhitas Tejas Tyagaschatmajaya Akshama Brahmanyada Prasadascha Satyam cha Shatra Lakshanam.
To be influential, inventive, uncontrollable, patient, challenging, and gentle. To control the bodily necessities. To be forgiving. To be just to the dynamical nature. And to be always jolly and truthful. These are the symptoms of the Kshatriya.
Jolly and truthful. And Brahmanitya, so they have to be attached to Brahmanical nature. Sometimes in passion one neglects or forgoes Brahmanical culture, but there is speed in Kshatriya, but there is direction also because of guidance of Brahmanas. So they are attached to Brahmanical nature. So they are also forgiving, controlling all necessities, etc. Next.
How Satya can be truthful? Because he has to do information politics.
He can be truthful. What's the problem? Diplomacy doesn't mean that you have to be truthful. For a higher cause, for a greater truth, you can sometimes give up your truth. It's not with the desire to have do something which is wrong or untruthful. It is with desire to have greater truth. Like when Vasudev is speaking to Kamsa in the 10th canto, when he is about to trying to protect Devaki Mata. So then he also is using diplomacy and things like that. But is he untruthful? No. He is known as being truthful. He is known as Ananta Dundadi in Devta. So it's not like that. It's mentioned he is truthful. He can be truthful. Okay. Not okay, you can tell also, not tendency.
Because we speak more.
I have to speak more. His facial expression really is not convinced.
What is the
Amazing. So I want your inputs. After I tell you the question, I want your inputs on this question. He's asking, how can a Kshatriya be truthful? He has to be diplomatic. So how can he be truthful?
I will share how to
See, this is how extrovs are also cheat. He's saying I'll tell conclusion after Quran. See, actually, truth is, abiding by a higher principle in life. Generally, in this world, we are always governed by our sense gratification or desire to enjoy. So that is lower modes. But something who is governed by higher principles. So that is being truth. He is working towards upliftment. So one who is work in progress, who is working towards upliftment, he is working towards truthfulness. So that is the mood. Therefore it's mentioned, he is truthful. Shaurya, Veeryam, Dhitisteja, Tyaga, Satyam cha Chakra Lakshanam. So he is Brahmanyata. So he is also inclined towards Brahmanical culture. He is truthful. He will not run away from battle or challenge. He is truthful.
Truthful in the sense that whatever he told, he will do.
Yeah, they are like to their word. They are determined or they follow the word. So Kshatriyas generally, so that way also it is there. And basically they are with a higher principle in mind. That is the real Kshatriya. Not the Kshatriyas of today's day and age. They are just concerned about their own welfare or they are not Kshatriyas.
It is something like give what to everybody, give to everybody. If that
Even if it is causing even Vasudev ji gave away his sons to Kamsa because he made a promise. But then he, on Krishna's order, he took away Krishna also. Both are there. He is a Vaishnava. Deva Guru Achyute Bhakte Trivarga Paribhoshanam Astikyam Putyamo Nityam Nehunyam Vaishya Lakshanam.
He always devoted to the believers, the spiritual master and the supreme Lord Vishnu, endeavoring for advancement in religious principles, communal development and self-gratifications, dharma, and karma. Believing in the words of the spiritual master and scriptures, and always endeavoring with expertise in earning money. These are the symptoms of the Vaishya.
So you see, Vaishya community generally, all this Deva, Guru, Achyuta, they will do a lot of rituals, and they're very good at dealing with money. They are punyam, how to increase money and things like that. Spiritual master, scripture, endeavoring with expertise in earning money. That is the symptom of a Vaishya. Vaishya communities are with that mood. When Shudras is mentioned in next verse, Shudrasya Sannita Shosham Seva Swamini Amayaya Amantrayagyo Hi Asteyam Satyam Go Vipra Lakshanam.
Offering obeisances to the higher sections of society, the Brahmanas, Kshatriya and Vaishyas. Being always very clean, being free from duplicity, serving as master, performing sacrifices, without uttering mantras, not discipline, and doing all protection, vows and hours. These are the symptoms of the
everybody ने शूद्रस का भी सत्यम दिया हुआ है. Prabhupada tells in the pulpit, a first-class servant is one who does not steal. Here it is recommended that a first-class Shudra must remain very clean. Clean with your word. Must not steal or speak lies and must always render service to his master. A Shudra may attend sacrifice and various ritualistic ceremonies along with his master, but he should not utter the mantras. You had that question, na? So it's answered here. He can attend sacrifice, but he cannot utter mantras. That is mentioned here. For these may be uttered only by members of higher sections of society. Unless one is completely pure and has been raised to stand up Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, in other words, unless one is a Dvija, chanting of mantras will not be fruitful.
For Shudra, there is no Brahmana sanskar.
That's how it is. It appears they don't have these different sanskars. But you can just imagine, when we speak of Shudra, we say Shudra. Shudra hai matlab very clean, free from duplicity, serving one's master, stealing, always speaking the truth, giving protection to cows and brahmanas. बहुत हाई क्वालिफिकेशन है. आजकल के जमाने में ब्राह्मण के बाद में रहेंगे क्वालिफिकेशन. So such definition also seems so elevated in today's context. So when we say Shudra, Shudra hai, lowly. Shudra means all these things also. It is very, very elevated. Because if you are serving, like if you are servant of higher community, they have to also have very good cleanliness standards. Na? How they can be unclean and then serve or clean, maintain cleanliness for others. So it was considered a very, very, it's not, so sometimes it's considered or looked upon as lowly, but sometimes you see proper tells that you see people who are poor or something, but in their house they maintain a lot of cleanliness. They may be working for others, but they have, ऐसा नहीं है कि सब we may be the so-called Brahmanas, but we have very less standard of cleanliness. But the Prabhupada is saying, service to the master, very determined and very, they were treated like, if you look at some traditional families, even the servants were treated as their own family members. They had so much respect, reciprocation, give and take. Like one of the major things is we have this devotee, Krishna Chandra Guru. So he is like coming from one of the most aristocratic families in the whole of India, at least some time back. His father's generation, they were like the biggest entrepreneurs, they were the biggest businessmen in the whole of India. They were known, Mofatlal. I don't know. I asked my parents, they say they were known as the biggest industrialist and the most known people. Now things have changed because of. So he kind of got to Krishna consciousness, and then the biggest thing was in Kirtan, he and his driver were dancing together, holding hands in Kirtan. So His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj commented, saying that is like in Krishna consciousness there is no disqualification or something, and even a person who is like such a big industrialist, son of industrialist, and his driver, they are both taking to Krishna consciousness and both are happily dancing. And that particular devotee is also initiated devotee. Prabhuji is also initiated devotee, and they have he's still the, as far as I know, he's still the driver for Prabhuji. He's also now very aged and things like that. And a lot of respect, and he is very, very respectful, very truthful, and things like that. So Shudra is not a lowly position. It is a very, very high in Vedic culture also. It is a very high. Yes,
Is there any particular clause between these that they cannot utter the
Prabhupada tells na in purport. We just read. Prabhupada says unless one is completely pure and has been raised to stand for Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, his Dvija, the chanting mantras will not be fruitful. So it's not that they are not qualified, but their chanting is not having any fruitfulness. Therefore, they are not doing.
Also, they will not have initiation.
Yeah, initiation. They are not doing.
Unlike at the Shudra, then he has no chance to become a Brahmana.
In traditional Vedic system. In traditional Vedic system, not in Devi Varnashram system. In Devi Varnashram system, you can be on anything, anywhere. You can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and perfect your life.
Many of us that the last verse is saying like one is born in like Shudra or Vaishya, but he has qualities of other like Brahmana and Kshatriya, that he is basically the Brahmana.
Yeah, it's not based on birth. Just that's why Chaturvarnya Mana, Maya Shrishna Mana, Maya Karma, Janma, okay? Guna Karma Vibhaga. That is there. Yes.
Higher caste, Brahman, Kshatriya, they are called as Arya. Or Shudra is like one of your rank. Arya means the fourth caste.
Arya, what do you understand? First is what do you mean by Arya? My question to you is when you say Arya, what do you mean by Arya? Because every word has its own understanding. No? What do you mean by Arya?
There is no caste.
What is the word? I don't know. Yes. What meaning does come out from that verse of Arya?
So unattitudes, they don't have, they don't know about the goal of life or after the life. Is it similar to Shudra? We have no higher goal or higher perspective of life.
See, they are more content on serving their master. That's why their Shudra means they are content in honestly, with all these symptoms, with all these qualifications, serving their master. And by that they get, by serving their master, they get that qualification. Krishna also says that Vaishyas, Shudras, Striyas, they also can achieve perfection. So somebody may say, Krishna is saying Vaishyas, Shudras and Striyas lower. उसके पहले भगवान कृष्ण बोलते हैं समोहम सर्वे भूतेषु नाम देशस्तु न क्रिया. Krishna is saying actually everyone is, I'm equal to everyone. I see everyone with equal vision. So Krishna is saying even if, and then उसके बाद next verse में he says that अभिचेत सुदुराचारो, that aspect also. So even one who does very durachar, still I sadhureva bhaktavya. So we are just portraying, oh, he's saying these are fallen or this is, but Krishna is saying everyone is equal for him. And even if somebody does something wrong, but if he is properly situated, he is sadhu. So from that perspective, you will see it's not like he's trying to do some discrimination or something. It's just based on, yeah, everyone has the, actually Krishna is saying everyone is eligible to take to bhakti.
For this Brahman, in this age of Kali, because of the Mahaprabhu also, there are strictness, makes the that focusing both the Brahmanas and Shudras, there is no distinction at all. So there is no caring for this, to barrier, break the boundaries of Brahman to the Shudra, everybody should chant and do bhakti. He has given the chance to it.
Yeah, but it's there, but sometimes, when we say Devi Varnashram system, and like sometimes we would say, Prabhupada said in the end, one service is left, or I could not establish Varnashram. This way a big debate in ISKCON. What did Prabhupada mean? And big leaders still not able to have conclusive, everyone has some understanding of it. So the point is we should be as per so as an institution, everyone can serve according to their capacity, ability to please Krishna. But we should be able to appreciate and see that devotee is actually serving Krishna as per their. We should appreciate and encourage and things like that. And we should not look down upon, oh, this service is less or that service is more. It has to be right, that's Devi Varnashram. So Arya is somebody who is going for a higher, who is looking to go for higher values of life or higher principles of life. So generally Shudras are considered, they are content in just serving the master with these qualities, higher, tall order, all these qualities. So in that way you may say, oh, they are not counted amongst Arya, but if they are serving an Arya, they will also get benefited, they may also get liberation. Actually now, the duties of chaste wife will come. There also you will see certain principles. Again, one may say, Stri, etc., etc.
What are the impurities of life?
What are the impurities?
Qualities are quite good. What are the impurities?
Impurities means they are not studying scriptures or they are just have to serve. That's what I'm saying, there is no impurity. It's just they are like leg. Leg has any impurity? In compared to the body, there is head, there is the hands, there is the belly and there is the leg. Leg is any impure than any other thing. But from the hierarchical point, you say head is the most important. Leg is also very important. It also does. अगर आप लेग को क्लीन नहीं रखेंगे, if it doesn't, it will also get diseased or it will also get. So that's why I'm saying it's all a notion which has been created in our minds. Oh, Brahmana is higher, Shudra is impure or something. See the qualities of it's not some. It's just complicated.
Last I was hearing a lecture of Krishna Prabhupada. He was telling how Krishna's limbs are actually compared with Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And he was telling that, do you think Krishna's head is more important than Krishna's feet? And Krishna's feet is not important, Krishna's head is important.
Yeah.
He was comparing in this way. And he was telling that Shudras are compared to Krishna's feet. And where we see first to the Lotus feet. Okay. So Krishna's feet is important. Similarly, Shudras are also important. Shudras are not given less.
Actually, if you think about it, all the three, Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya, they will not be able to do their responsibilities if Shudras don't do their responsibilities. So from that angle, if you see, their work is most important. Because if Shudras are not engaged in their responsibility, Brahmana cannot do his yajan, dan, particular. He will not be, he will not get things on time, he will not proper cleanliness, something. How will he be able to manage this without? So it's all very, that whole thing is made that hierarchy is there just to show that there is importance in terms, but everyone is very important. We are seeing something.
While the conclusion that Shudras, moral is a common. So who is truthful, who is clean? So where is the prominence of moral there? And we can say that he is not reading scriptures. That's why
He is not.
reading scriptures. That's why he is in moral ignorance. So my conclusion is
who is not reading scriptures, how he can be truthful and not interested or ideal?
See, truthful means he is mentioned in Prabhupada, he is very truthful, he is not trying to cheat his master or steal from his master. That is truthful. If you have a servant who is always, like today's servants, they are always stealing or kamchor and this and that, he is not a Shudra also. From Satyam also has grades, na? Satyam, Krishna. Satyam can be like, for Satyam, my word, I will not move away from my word. For Vaishya, Satyam means whatever is told and whatever he does properly. So he will not give a word, or he is not concentrating on absolute truth, Param Satya, what is mentioned in scriptures. What is under his purview of work, in that he is truthful. If he is not truthful, then nowadays you cannot even depend on any servant also. Half of the time in life will go on monitoring the servant. So you cannot do your thing also. But if Varnashram is in its proper place, then you give some responsibility to a servant, then you rest assured it will be done without cheating, without. So then you can concentrate on your work. Na? Abhi half of the time you are going just monitoring whether he is doing his work or not, he is stealing or not.
So then how we are seeing nowadays, they are less than
Yeah. Therefore, Prabhupada says, na, Shudra Sambhava. Shudra मतलब उससे भी नीचे रहना. What we have understanding of Shudra is just, everyone is just interested. Like Shudra may think of his welfare. At least he knows by being truthful, to my master, it's my welfare. So he is thinking in terms of his welfare only. To my welfare, my family's welfare. But they had the right understanding. By serving my master in the right mood, in being truthful and being beautiful, it's my welfare. So he is thinking of his welfare. So therefore he is called Shudra, because he is thinking of his welfare. The others, they are thinking of welfare at a higher level, societal level or at a spiritual level and things like that. But he is just thinking of my welfare. But he, at least, because he was in Vedic fold, he knows that the welfare is in being truthful to the subservient. So in that, Ajkal understanding is totally gone. Understanding will come when there is proper example. No? There is no proper example also. Very few examples for family. It's not that they will be always subdued or so things like that. Yes. 25th year now. Look, we are going up down Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra.
Greater service to the husband, he always availability disposed towards the husband, to be equally well disposed toward the husband's relatives and friends, and to follow the vows of the husband. These are the four principles to be followed by women described as chaste.
So faithful, favorably disposed towards husband, towards the relatives and friends, to follow the vows of husband, and to render service to the husband. These are the four aspects. So Prabhupada says it is very important for peaceful householder life that a woman follow the vow of her husband. Any disagreement with husband's vow will disrupt family life. Quoting Chanakya Pandit, Dampatyo kalaho nasti tatra shri swayam agataha. When there are no fights between husband and wife, the goddess of fortune automatically comes to that home. Shriya swayam agata. A woman's education should be conducted along the lines indicated in this verse. Okay. In our assembly there is no women, so therefore no question. Okay, and then Prabhupada says, in the end, Varna Shankara and everything Prabhupada saying, the symptoms on one's activities must be defined and one must be educated accordingly. The symptoms on one's activities must be defined and one must be educated accordingly. Then spiritual advancement will automatically be possible. It's a very deeply insightful words. In today's education system, everyone is given same education. The global things will automatically be possible because we are creating quantities and then you train him or you place and right mood, then it will be automatically suitable, congenial environment for him to grow spiritually. In today's time, everyone is frustrated. First is where he is not meant to be, and second where God is not trained to execute the spiritual advancement. Because there has to be some level of satisfaction and contentment from where we can actually make progress. So it is like clearing, we should have clear laid out goal and then we should have expectations that we can work properly. Clearly laid out goals. Next, 26 and 27 for the chaste woman.
Yes. In ashrama,
Yes.
Brahmacharya,
Or it can here proper can be chaste wife. So a woman, it's more for anyone. So for a woman, like Prabhupada is telling, she should be trained. A woman's education should be conducted along the lines indicated in this verse. So these are these a woman should be engaged in. Like our Super Sala Group, I made that day one family had come, so that daughter was there and I was telling she wants to do engineering. So she came directly to the point. He said, Mataji, you must do it. But ultimately the duty of woman is this. So it is directly coming to the point conclusion. He's saying, no, she is devotees. She was devotees. Conclusion is correct. He is speaking exactly what is mentioned here. But then we have to see when person is in a mood to receive it. That also is sometimes. So it's there. But then we may say so many things. But then are we able to lead our life also to facilitate that kind of lifestyle? We may say, "Arey, ऐसा करना चाहिए. Women should be like this. Can I be the ideal father, husband, son, etc.? So we have a lot of expectations from others. They should look at like proper Shastra. Good. But when it comes to, they may act like this, but am I acting properly as per? I'm not telling you, we may say about women, but like, am I able to do my responsibility as a brother, as a son? Am I exactly following the scriptural thing? So it's easy to point to others. You do like this, you do like this, this is this. Am I able to follow my responsibility? That's where the whole thing collapses. Because person sees that you are saying this, but then we are exploiting. We will not do our part, but then person feels that this is all bogus. I will not follow anything. This is all just means to suppress us, things like that. So our intentions are good, but it still requires a lot of adjustments and fine tuning and making things proper. So that is there. Sorry. I quoted your name. I know you did not be, but I know you don't feel anything. You are Sama. Next.
Says woman must dress nicely and decorate herself with golden ornaments for the presence of her husband, always wearing neat and attractive garments. She should sweep and clean the household with water and other liquids so that the entire house is always pure and clean. She should collect the household paraphernalia and keep the house always aromatic with incense and flowers and must be ready to execute the desires of her husband. Be modest and truthful, controlling her senses and speaking in sweet words. It says women should engage in the service of her husband with love, according to time and circumstances.
Kale kale bhaje bhaje. Next.
Says women should not be greedy but satisfied in all circumstances. She must be very expert in handling household affairs and should be fully conversant with religious principles. She should speak easily and quickly and should be very careful and always clean and pure. Thus, a says woman should engage with perfection in the service of husband who is not qualified.
So this verse and next verse important. Patim to apatitam bhaje. So she should serve a husband who is not patit, who is not fallen. So then Prabhupada writes a very heavy purport here. So Prabhupada says it is recommended therefore that a chaste wife not associate with fallen husband. Fallen husband is one who is addicted to four principles: illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and taxation. Especially one is not a soul surrendered to Supreme Lord, he is considered to be contaminated. Thus a chaste woman is advised not to agree to serve such a husband. It is not that a chaste woman should be like a slave while her husband is Naradama, the lowest of men. Although the duties of women are different from those of men, a chaste woman is not meant to serve a fallen husband. If her husband is fallen, it is recommended that she give up his association. Giving up the association of her husband does not mean, however, that a woman should marry and indulge in prostitution. If a chaste woman unfortunately marries a husband who is fallen, she should live separately from him. Similarly, a husband can separate himself from a woman who is not a chaste according to the description. The conclusion is that a husband should be a pure Vaishnava and that a woman should be a chaste wife, and that all symptoms described in this regard, then both of them will be happy and make progress in Krishna consciousness. It's a heavy purport, and Prabhupada is saying you should leave. So that should be also contextual. It should not be like Prabhupada is saying leave. Prabhupada's own sister, Pishima, she was serving, like she was in a house where she was married in a house where they were like eating fish. Her husband was like, so she had to, because she's serving, so she would serve or something like that. But it's not what she said, Prabhupada says, is not a slave. Her husband is Maratha. It's not like that also. So it has to be properly understood how things have to be. It's not that she's a slave also. Husband can do anything and the wife has to just is like a slave. So both aspects have to be followed. Yes. Any comments? Yes.
How it could be misused. That means causing more divorce in the community of the congregation, and it causes dividing the original response to the outside world, outside real people. That many ISKCON congregations or ISKCON families putting down divorce religion. How it can be misused by the couple.
How can it be? Yes, Rudy, you want to answer something? Rudy with experience and rest the background. पहले उनको बोलना था फिर बताना. Yeah, I know you are telling his brothers, but very different.
Once Damodar Prabhu, he was his class only. He was answering that the lady asked Maharaj, my husband is drinking, he is smoking cigarettes, and he is not very comfortable. I am not comfortable with him. Should I leave him? Then Maharaj, after a pass of time, he asked, does he allow you to do your devotional service? Then she said, yes. He provides money for me to call the Vaishnavas and do the Sankirtan in my house. He does all facilities for me. But I cannot tolerate his drinking and smoking. Otherwise, it's very helpful to me. Then Maharaj said, see, to be alone, living in and living alone, you need money. And that doesn't come very easy, number one. Number two, so long he is not the obstacle to your devotional service, you should not leave him. That is the statement of Maharaj. So, the lady, the idea is that one who obstructs the devotional service of the other person, then that is not conducive for a spiritual life. The whole thing is spoiling. So it is better to leave the person, one who is not allowing the other to do the devotional practice. And the same lecture, Prabhu was telling that there is a family in which the lady goes to the temple and the husband stays outside. Even I know one, both are from ISKCON only, but they go to other temple. They don't go inside, the husband don't go inside. The wife only goes inside and comes back. Till that. So this is allowing her to do the devotional service. This itself is a very good practice. So one has to be tolerant. It's to a certain extent in a, anywhere two people are joining, they are bound to have a conflict. 101%. Any two male member, any female member, any male and female, anywhere. You bound to have conflict. How to resolve it? We have to resolve it by having sufficient tolerance. Up to a certain extent, we have to live with them, with the freedom to them, giving freedom to them, and expecting the same thing. How do you want to be treated? You have to treat them accordingly. That's my experience or whatever I heard. Thank you.
What about seeing in ISKCON, it's like Prabhuji also mentioning that there is higher divorce rate than even outside.
Yeah.
So is that okay or?
No. The idea is that it happens generally in the Kanishta Bhaktas. So one has to be, again, the tolerance is to be just. See, most of the time what happens, we do the counseling and do the counseling, understanding is there, yet the counselor is not knowing 100% of the counseling. Especially the temperament of the individual. When he is put at chaos or when he is put at the problems, how does he react? The counselor doesn't know. So in that case, what happens? Up to a certain extent, we have to be with them, and later the counselor have to deal with them. And divorce is not the option. Anyway, divorce is it's a last resort. And Prabhupada also here says that after getting divorced, one should not marry. That becomes a prostitution. So it is a final verdict of your life if you are going for divorce. So the counselor, anyway, the counselor is a major player in this, especially in our Radha Gopinath temple under Maharaj. So the counselor has to say this thing very clearly. If you are opting for divorce, then that should be end up. There should not be any progression further that no, I cannot live without this thing, that thing, I need money. You should have thought of that earlier. And why not? If a person he is chanting the holy name, we cannot be all that ruthless. Or a female who is chanting the holy name 6 feet from the, they cannot be all that ruthless. Maybe a tolerance level is not getting there. So we will have to stay put. The counselor has to give them the time. Okay, you wait for 6 months, wait for 1 year. This is what we have been practicing. The counselor gives time and say that we will discuss this after 6 months. So in the meantime, watch them, ask them their input, etc. Of course, there are taking place, divorces taking place. But as I said, the Kanishta level, these things are happening, so they have to get mature. Till that time, we cannot do anything on this. We have no control on that.
Because after this class, normal process, when some of the teachers, laboratory teachers, this is the class, there is brahmachari also. Then one, there is a lady, another female, his husband also. Husband is husband is the they were initiated devotee, but after reading this picture, he is observing that these qualities are missing in his husband, in her husband. So sometimes this many things happen. So we should focus.
Can someone else?
He is saying sometimes we see after reading scriptures, Mataji may feel that ye qualities are missing in my husband. And then, so sometimes is it like, are you asking, sometimes more knowledge can lead to this also? Something like more knowledge also may lead to something like, on that line is better.
So actually, they need a very strong counseling. And our one thing is lacking in our counselor group. Suppose if I am unable to convince my counselee, I don't take help from the other counselor. That is a big drawback here. Of course, some are taking, some are not taking. Suppose if I am not good at divorce resolution and someone else is good, I should divert to them. Please, you go and meet them and take appointment from them. Prabhuji, this is such and such, people are coming kindly talking to them. So, those things when we develop, maybe in the future we can develop interpersonal counselor activities. There should be some kind of a management system should be there. Then, yeah, your point is well taken. That can be resolved also. These are all not the misunderstanding, but these are all the expectations from the husband is too high or from the wife is too high. Understanding that the opposite person has got limitations. And one more thing, let me be very frank with you, since you are not going to be involved in all this. I am putting this across. This point, we discuss it less actually.
Because I am asking that question because some from the user also, we are guiding some householder also. Like a thing also guided the householder husband also. So what should be the proper instruction to be given? Because we have a conversation because
It is not a thumb rule instruction. I will tell about my family. We were discussing that day. Myself and my wife, we never fought in this last 35-40 years. Never fought in the sense, I am a bit kind of a very high temperament person. I lose my temper very fast. And my wife is just the opposite. That every fought she will never get this thing, agitated or she never gets frustrated. She will truly manage the same system. So by being with her, I also started learning that tolerance, getting tolerance. And of course, when the age crosses certain, now she is also getting slightly frustrated, but I have become tolerant. So it's a balance. The life is very beautiful, provided we know how to enjoy it. So it's a very, and well, the couples are made by divine, the heaven, they say that. So it's like that you have to have such a good way to enjoy the life, and that's a divine thing. That's what I want to say.
because the company
Let us conclude, yeah. Please stay with us, answering these questions.
My conclusion is that now there is another Brahmacharya ashram, Grihastha ashram. Now in ISKCON there is another ashram, Bhishma ashram. I don't know if you have heard, it's very prevailing now so there are devotees, children, especially male Prabhus, they are saying, seeing the situation, they are saying, we will not get married, we will not join ashram, not the join Brahmat Grasta ashram, we will remain Bhishma ashram. We will work and we will also not get married. That's another new ashram which is growing rapidly. I know so many of devotees, children who are like not getting married because they are worried that seeing the situation that after marriage there is so much of problems, so better. And brahmachari ashram may be there are problems, so better stay in this ashram. So point is, personally, whatever Prabhuji is feeling and with his experience and what he is, I have not seen so much of how things are practically going on. But as some seniors say, we should sometimes, we don't know that person what he is going through. So sometimes we cannot judge just a person based on who he has taken divorce, say his father, or if somebody is. So every situation is unique. Everyone is in a unique situation. We don't know what the person is going through, and sometimes it may be there may be no other solution than to go for this also. So then that times this may also happen. But so we should not just say, "Arey, this is wrong." This is not
Many
there.
points are there. I have not opened up the can of not required to discuss the at forum.
Yeah.
Because the divorce is very complex in nature. And in simple way, they don't get along. We have to relate the Lord with no, nothing can work with them. We cannot compensate with anything to them, not to go with them. And mostly what Prabhuji was asking, I should get it. The ladies are seeking more on the divorce, not the male member. So it should be assumed that their expectations are good. And also, in ISKCON, what happens? When you are dancing and chanting and eating prasad and eating the people, it looks that everyone is a very four-handed Vishnu form. And you get attracted to him. And not seeing that his background, his earning capacity, or what is his background, family, his temperament, nothing. Immediately they go, yes. But then what happens? Actually, you see that he is not 400, he is 200 only. And the pressure what he is eating doesn't work with him or work with her.
Yeah, difference.
The differences are getting moved up. And well, you need a 5 feet, this current TV, you need a 6 foot fit. All this doesn't come with the ordinary salaried person. You need to be earning good salary. At least a lakh rupee salary, but person should be earning in Bombay to have at least his own house and to have more salary. And 1 lakh rupee earning is not an ordinary amount. It's not a big amount, but it's not an ordinary amount. You need to be qualified at least a professional to work this one. You need to be at least 10 years experienced engineer or at least good lawyer or a doctor or maybe those persons can only earn something for them. So these are all there. And
Yes, this is a very complex. So I understand two times. Prabhupada says the women educators they are left to. So then it's education should be along the lines of chastity, but then because nowadays the whole culture is like if they are on their own, how will they take care? So then that education is also given. That education will contradict. So this education is different, this education is different, but then there is contradiction. So then we have to see how both things can be complementary, how it can be done, and that is a difficult part. So
Brother, if one of the purpose writes that how that young bird is being groomed, that at the age of 10 or 11 they get married, but they live separately.
Yeah.
They attend the adult. So till the time she is being groomed that how to follow this for which are all completely follow. And that's a training on purpose actually is not properly. Yeah. So these are,
But in today's context, it's not just you may give that training, but then you have to give this education training and this, and then it's contradictory. So education, they are told to be ambitious, so then it's contradictory to the other principle. But then how that can be harmonized, that has to be done. It's not so easy. It takes a whole society to raise a child properly. It's just working parents, how they will manage to train and things like that. So then 29th verse, that is like culmination. Yes.
The women who engage in the service of the husband are going skilled in the good state of the goddess of person. Surely it turns home back to the way. We are living as well. And it is very important in the educated climate.
Shudra also is serving a devoted master, and he will also get the same. So he is serving somebody who is serving the Lord. He is very faithfully serving. So he also gets like a woman who is serving a faithful or devoted husband. Like the discussion we are having. So that answer is there. A woman probably should serve her husband as faithfully as goddess of fortune. A man should be an ideal servant of Lord, and a woman should be an ideal wife like the goddess of fortune. So that is mentioned. Prabhupada says a woman should think of her husband as Supreme Lord. Similarly, a disciple should think of spiritual master as Supreme Lord. A Shudra should think of Brahmana as Supreme Personality of Godhead. And a servant should think of master as Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this way, all of them will automatically become devotees of the Lord. In other words, by thinking this, all of them will become Krishna conscious. That is 14 verse from Madhvacharya. Hari Yasmin Sthita Iti Strinam Bhratri Bhavana Shishyanam Cha Guru Nityam Shudranam Brahmanadishu Bhratyanam Swamini Tatha Hari Bhava Dharita. So just by serving the master who is a servant of the Lord, one will get perfection. That's mentioned. So then we talk about mixed classes and things like that. So I think we'll stop here. Mixed classes we'll discuss tomorrow around 2 o'clock. And only 4 verses, but another section. So 2 things. Tomorrow we will have class from